child. You know how niggas be like, I'm missing that for life. Missing that for life. That's for life, nigga. This is blood. Hey, yo, Madara. They go a class for you, my nigga. On 40 for the road. The world's turning its back over. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers. He got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out. I tell you what. Don't pray for nothing. Nothing in the curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in the trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did and bring it giving. Have no respect to your oppressor. Be about your business. Take this Lord, teach the damn sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind face. They said they'll be in their matches. I'm just grinding for my time share. The devils they plan fair. They hunt you like bad pell. But ain't no getting out the game like you munch. Or if you take that office or done thing, try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out and work so you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times and it's death to a heart. So how you feel about this truth by the show? This ain't the like you think, little nigga. I should won't know. Even your own people gon' this show. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Ain't no more kiss, ain't no more question. Make sure my election till I'm pumped away like George Dennis. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the capital. The world is amazing, we like fucking raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. Won't ever try it. I'm pretty glad all my brothers be dead, so I don't need the phone to salute my nigga. Salute. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated because of you, my niggas. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the stick. And I never do my niggas like Bishop did right here. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty said she even said she wanna let that love go. But I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's your blood hope. So, how you feel about this truth by the show? This ain't the like you think, nigga. I should won't. Even your own people gon' just tell. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah. According to God, the white man is the devil. See, I've been here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk about they like to claim these shit, they like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority. They don't really know what to do with that leadership. Understand? Your whole hands in this way, your ass need to stop and ask you. Give a damn what you talk about. Give a fuck what you believe. They gotta stand up and serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Everybody ain't with on that piece up. Everybody ain't with on that. Let Mike on. Boy, the ass shit, stop the ass shit. Practice, my nigga serious. Boy, when they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, where the fuck with no leaders, I'm curious. They catch down through your blood, traded you in and bought a new biz. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in the dreams. I tell you once, won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga in bed, and I'm on parole because of the COVID. And feel like the hoes in this world is coming together. Know where it's going in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the skull never settle. Yeah, he the prophets. These niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, you need to stop it. Hey, you know, like we all come together. You know what I'm saying? They say God so loved the world. God so loved the world, and all your ass need to stop it. Ass you don't give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe. You gotta stand up and serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Hey, gentlemen, y'all don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your ass need to stop and ass shit. Or I'm gonna step outside of the show to the fake niggas. We stay silent. I got it. Let's go. I ain't taking no losses. Ain't no talking when we got the flow. Ain't no peace. Just came with you. I'ma be lost to the right now. We can't get it late. And I can never let bygone be bygone. Got you. Baby mother on high. Baby pass through the fire. Ain't see the prophets. Never be so below to the Lord. Daddy your boy. Never will fail you, bitch. I can't afford. I prepare slaughter. You bring my water. Push it. and peace. That's a truth. All right. Let's get started. Shalom, Israel. All right. Shalom, Israel. To all the brothers, that means may the Most High watch over you in the name of who the world calls Christ. And to all the sisters, Shalom. Yahweh Shema Al-Khan Hashem Yahweh. All right. In the Hebrew, that's Hebrew for may the Most High watch over you, sisters, in the name of who the world calls Christ. All right. I'm Priest and Officer Lashawan under Commanding General YAHANNA. And we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Just started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right. Today is Friday night's Lashawan Qadash class. Lashawan Qadash. All right. That's Hebrew for holy tongue. All right. This is the Friday night's Hebrew class. We're teaching Hebrew to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right. We're teaching Hebrew to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. Who are the Israelites of antiquity. All right. So we're going to get started. Clean up my board a little. Make sure everybody can see well what we're doing. Okay, like we do every Friday class, we're going to start off by going over our alphabet. All right. When you're learning a language, understanding the alphabet is very important. All right. That's your basics. That's your foundation to learning a language. All right. Just like you learn English, French, Spanish, whichever language you speak, you started off with the alphabet. All right. Learning how to sound out characters, learning how to say the characters, learning how to say the alphabet. All right. And that's what we're doing in the Hebrew. So every Friday night, all right, you got brothers in the I.S.U.P.K teaching Hebrew. Check out, you can check out a school closest to you. This is I.S.U.P.K Canada. All right, if you're in Canada, make sure you're checking us out. You're tuned in. You can see us on YouTube, Facebook. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to our pages. All right, if you want to join the school, if you're logged in on YouTube right now, hit those sign-in links. All right, hit the sign-in links. Make sure before the end of the class that you sign out. All right, very important. All right, if you want to be a brother or sister in the school. All right, so definitely check out a school near you. This is the I.S.U.P.K Canada. All right, we go from 7 to 9 o'clock, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. every Friday. All right, and come and learn your language. Okay, so we're going to go over our alphabet. All right. The first character we have is an Allah. All right, make sure you can see that okay on the board. All right, we have an Allah. Allah. We pronounce this Ah. All right, that is the first character in our language. All right, it's an Allah. We pronounce it Ah. We have a Ba, Ga, Shalaki. That is a little better. All right, so we got a Ah, a Ba, and a Ga. Oh, the marker's running out on me. Shalaki, give me 1 second. There we go. All right, so we got an Ah, Ba, Ga, Da. We have a Ha, Wa, Za. All right. So these are our first characters in the Hebrew alphabet. We call them characters because these are actual symbols. They're characters. They're images. All right. They are pictures of something. Okay, and each of these pictures, they all mean something. All right. You have an alap, which is the symbol of a cow. All right. This is a picture of an ox's head. All right. You have a ba, which is a bayath. All right. Bayath meaning house. All right. This is like a blueprint. All right. Like a blueprint of a tent. All right. You have a gamal. All right. Which is the neck of a camel. All right. You have a dalaf, which is a door, and so on and so forth. All right. Each of these characters are actual pictures. All right. So we'll get through the whole alphabet and then we'll keep going. All right. So we got A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Da. All right. And then what I have written down beneath it, all right, this is the Assyrian Hebrew. All right. Assyrian Hebrew. All right. We also teach the Assyrian in these classes because a lot of our manuscripts are written in this, in Assyrian. All right. We also have, of course, we have manuscripts written in the Lashawan Qadash. All right. One of the oldest stones. Salakia. I believe it's called the Decalogue stone. Yeah, I may have that wrong. So I'll leave that for now. But some of the oldest manufactured, some of the oldest, some of the oldest artifacts that we have. All right, some of the oldest Israelite artifacts are written in these characters, the Lashawan Qadash. All right, this is the language that we spoke, the language of the Hebrews, the language of Israelites. All right, this is the language that Adam spoke, and he passed that on to his kids. All right. So then this is the Assyrian. All right, we picked up more of a modern Hebrew as we went through different captivities. And because of that, like the Babylonian captivity, we have some of our manuscripts written in this Hebrew. All right. So we also teach that in our classes. And then below this, what I have here is, this is how you pronounce these characters. All right. Pronunciation is the same for both the Assyrian and the Lashawan Qadash. All right. The only difference when you get in the modern Hebrew, one of the Hebrews you hear today, they have vowels inside their language. All right. And so when you're reading the Assyrian, you'll see dots like this, right? You'll see different dots, which are called, I believe they're called vowel points. All right. You'll see different vowel points beside the letters, and it will let you know how to pronounce the different vowels. All right. But we don't teach that. We're not worried about that. Our language doesn't have any vowels in it. All right. And so you'll understand that better as you come to more classes and learn and research. All right. And so this is our language. This is what we spoke. All right. This is how our characters look. This is how we pronounce these characters. All right. This ha, this is a ha, right? This is how we pronounce it, ha. And so forth and so on. So we'll keep going. All right. It's important when you come to class that you take notes. All right. You want to learn anything. All right. You get yourself a notepad and take good notes. The better notes you take, the better it is you'll be able to reference what it is you've learned. All right. So take good notes. Take notes, ask questions. All right. You type your questions in the chat if you're tuned in. I will do my best to answer it. And if I don't have an answer, we can definitely get those answers for you. All right. So keep going. We left off with a za. We have a ka next. All right. Ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa. All right. These are the next characters we have. All right. And we'll put the Assyrian beneath it. No. So, all right. Underneath those, the characters, I will put the pronunciation. La, ka, ya, ta, and a ka. All right. Again, this is how we pronounce each of these characters. All right, we got a ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa. All right, these are the characters for it. All right, at the top we have the Lashawan Qadash, and then beneath Beneath it, we have the Assyrian. All right. Yeah, so you can go ahead and copy these down. All right. And practice pronouncing each character. Right. Because once you can pronounce each character, you can start reading the Hebrew. All right. You'll have no problem to begin to be able to read the Hebrew. So go ahead and get these down in your notes. All right. Once we get through the alphabet, we're going to get into, we're going to go over just a couple words today just to add to our vocabulary. All right. We're going to go over some of the names of our feast days. All right. We just got finished celebrating the Lord's Passover in Cocoa Beach, Florida. All right. That was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely glorious. It was an amazing event. It was amazing to see brothers and sisters gathered together in unity. All right, I was down there. I didn't see one argument. I didn't see one fight. I didn't hear any drama. You had brothers down there serving their people like we're supposed to do, to serve one another, to suffer for one another. The brothers and sisters prepared some beautiful food, some amazing food for our people so that we could eat. We had some amazing lamb, some amazing unleavened bread. I'm definitely not going to forget that. The brothers and sisters put in a lot of work to prepare all that. All right, that was beautiful. We had a lot of brothers doing different things just to get different events to run smoothly, to come together. You had brothers traveling from all over the world. I saw brothers in from Holland, different places in the UK. I saw Jamaica down there, Trinidad down there, Puerto Rico was down there. Brothers from all over the States. It was a beautiful thing, right, to see our people gathered together and to commemorate our ancestors, to remember the things that our ancestors went through, right? To be able to look upon our history, where we came from, the power that's with us, the power that we serve, the power that loves us, the power that defeated our enemies, defeated those Egyptians. And it's important to know that the Most High is going to fight for us again. And he's going to defeat our enemies again. All right, that's a beautiful thing. That's a day. It's a day that a lot of brothers and sisters are looking forward to. Right? As we know, it says in the book of Amos, not to desire the day of the Lord. For what end is it for you? Because the day of the Lord is dark. When Christ returns, there's going to be a lot of people killed, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of murder. Right? Just like there was in Egypt. Imagine all the screams, the cries of all the firstborn of the Egyptians that were killed. Right? That was a dark day for the Egyptians. That was a very dark day for the Egyptians. And that was a day for freedom for the nation of Israel. All right, and when Christ returns again, it's going to be another dark day. There's going to be a lot of people
who are going to be judged for all the evil that they've done. You understand? And so it's our job, like Paul said, to make our election sure. Focus every day to do the best that you can to serve our King Christ, to do what he says, to do what the Most High commands and requires of us, to be perfect, like Christ told us. And Lord willing, we'll have the Most High on our side. All right? And so that's what's been on the minds of brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K. Right? We just celebrated Passover, and right now we're in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Right? Brothers and sisters got to make sure that you're eating unleavened bread every day. All right? Every day for 7 days. Brothers and sisters should not have any leaven in their house. Right? Right now we should not have leaven in our house. Right? Should put it away, put it in your basement, put it in your garage, put it in your car, put it somewhere where you're gonna make sure you're not gonna touch it. Right? And if anybody comes to your house, that it's not going to be accessible for them to touch and to eat any food with leaven in it. Right? We got to make sure we're doing what the Most High commands, what the Most High requires of us, not to make any excuses to sin, not to make any excuses not to do what the Most High says. Right? So because we're in that feast right now, we're going to go over some of those words in Hebrew. Right? Right? Just to stay in that spirit, we'll go over some of the different feast days. Right? A couple other words that we use in the Hebrew. Some common words that you'll read out of the book of Leviticus. I think that's Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Right? Where you read about the different high holy days, the different holy days that the Most High commanded the nation of Israel to keep and to commemorate and to celebrate throughout their generations. Right? Meaning forever. We do that by teaching it to our kids so that they celebrate it and they keep it and they teach it to their kids and they continue on with the tradition. They continue on with what the Most High requires us to do. All right? So we'll get this alphabet down and then we'll go into some of the feast days. All right, we should be good with this. So we left off with Saw. We have Saw. After Saw comes I. All right, Ayan, I. We have a Pa. Let me write these out. Pa, Tazah, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Ta. All right, these are the last characters in our alphabet. We have I, Pa. Let's see, it looks like this. Pa. We have Tazah. Kwa. Ra. Sha. I noticed some people write this different. What we have here, if we do we're doing more of the printed right now. Yeah, we're doing the printed, the serial. So this shot is more like this. Alright. Shah. And then a fa. Alright. Those are all the characters in the Hebrew. Alright, all the characters in our alphabet. We got I, Pa, Tazah, Kwa, Ra, Shah, and a Tha. Alright, again, how we pronounce it. I is the only character that doesn't end in an ah sound. Alright, every other character ends in an ah. Pa, Tazah, Kwa. Right? Yeah, so what we got next? So we're in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We're going to be closing out the Feast of Unleavened Bread tomorrow. Saturday at sundown, we'll be closing out the Feast of Unleavened Bread. All right, make sure you check out our channel, our YouTube channel. All right, if you're tuned in to the I.S.U.P.K Canada, right, if you're learning with us, we'll be closing the Feast of Unleavened Bread tomorrow night. All right, make sure you tune in for that. Again, I'll say it, make sure you're eating unleavened bread every day. All right? Make sure you're eating unleavened bread every day. And make sure you're tuned in to class every day. All right? Tune in to I.S.U.P.K classes 7 days a week. Make sure you're learning and studying with us so that you can learn how to follow the Most High. All right? It's very important to gather with your brothers, to unite with your brothers and sisters, so that you can learn from other brothers, right? You can learn from other sisters. On how to do what the Most High requires you to do, requires us to do. Right? That should be enough time. You can always rewind our classes. You can always watch over them again. We have some classes on I.S.U.P.K Canada page, specifically spending more time on the alphabet. All right. If you're just a beginner and you're just learning, you can check out those classes. All right. And just getting this down. If you need to pause the video, pause it. Get these down in your notes. All right. This is your foundation. A good place to be is you want to be able to pronounce the whole alphabet from beginning to end. Right? You want to say ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, ta, za, kwa, ra, sha, tha. You want to be able to say that from beginning to end. And once you can do that, there'll be other ways to read in Hebrew. All right? So let's get this down. Right? You can practice those characters, practice pronouncing it. Brothers and sisters have different ways of learning the alphabet. What I did for myself, just as you learn, A, B, C's, I've heard other brothers teach us. Just as you learn, A, B, C's, I've heard other brothers teach us. You can learn the alphabet. You can learn the alphabet if you learn your ABCs, you kind of have it in a song, in a rhythm, right? People learn better that way when you have things in song and rhythm. What I did is I learned the alphabet in fives, all right? So I had 5 characters, and I just practiced these first 5 characters over and over and over. And I practiced saying it over and over and over. All right. You can take out a piece of paper and just write it line by line. Abba gada ha, Abba gada ha, Abba gada ha, Abba gada ha. All right. And once you learn the characters, right, you also say the pronunciation with it. Abba gada ha, Abba gada ha, Abba gada ha. I said that over and over and over. Right? You can say that to yourself for 5 minutes straight. It won't take long. 5 minutes of your time. Just say Abba Gada Ha, Abba Gada Ha, Abba Gada Ha. Right? And then once you get that down, right, you said it a couple times, and you practice writing out those characters a couple times, you can move on to the next. Right? So I had Abba Gada Ha. The next one I learned was Waza Kataya. Right? So we have Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya. Right? This is just a tip if you're looking for a way to practice it. All right. So I said Abba Gada Ha, Abba Gada Ha. You can use your fingers, right, just to help remember. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Abba Gada Ha, Abba Gada Ha, Abba Gada Ha. And then you move on to the next. Waza Kataya, Waza Kataya, right? Waza Kataya. And you can practice that over and over. I believe there's, it slipped my mind. I think there's 22 characters. Awagadaha, Wazakataya, Kalamanasa, I, Tazakwara, Shatha. We have 22 characters in total, right? So as you can see, I have it down in fives, right? Remember it in fives. So you only have 4 different, for myself, I sectioned it in learning it in the fives. So I only had 4 different kind of rhythms I had to memorize, right? I had 4 different rhythms I had to memorize. You can do that. 5 minutes for each one, right? Just practice. Waza kata ya, waza kata ya, waza kata ya. And you write it down over and over. And you can move on to the next. And then by the time you're at the end of the alphabet, you got 2 characters to learn. Shatha, shatha, shatha. All right? And that's one way that you can use to learn it. All right? And so that's just a tip. If you're having troubles, um, again, everybody learns different. If you have your own ways of learning, This is not an order for you to learn it this way, right? Just recommending something that you can do. All right. So where we're gonna start off. Where we'll start off and learning, right? We'll start off by, we'll do a little refresher. We'll go over the days of the week. Okay? In the Hebrew, everything we do, right? We read and write, right to left. Okay? When we're writing the Hebrew, when we're reading the Hebrew, we go right to left. Okay? It's not like the English language where they do everything backwards. We're going right to left. Okay? So we have Ha Yawam. All right? Ha Yawam. All right? Wam. We have a Salakia. We have a preposition, right? Pre meaning before. And we have something in here called a root word. All right. When we read the Hebrew, in English, you'll see 10 different words that make up a sentence. All right. In the Hebrew, a lot of these words are put together into one word. All right. This is an example of one. We have this word Yawam. And Yawam means day. Then we have a preposition here. All right. Which I usually have prepositions and adjectives up on my board. All right. Possessive words and prepositions up on my board. Because it's so common when you're reading the Hebrew. All right. You have these preposition and possessive words all over as you're reading the Hebrew. So this preposition word, right, this is the character ha. All right. And anytime you see this character at the beginning of a word, this is what it means. All right. It means the. All right. It is a preposition the. All right. So we have ha yawam. Wa shabawai. All right. We have sha ba why. Shabawai. And we will add that preposition. All right. We'll add a preposition at the beginning of this word. Right. To add in the word the here. All right. Ha yawam. Right. The days, the weeks. All right. Now in Hebrew, we have more of a what you would call today like a barbaric type language. All right. this language, we're very aggressive. We're extremely direct. All right? Our language is not a language that is confusing. All right? We're not passive aggressive. We're very direct in our speech. All right? So as we're speaking, right, we're saying the day, the week, right? That is how we'd say it in Hebrew. So it's not confusing, it's very direct. We're letting people know everything is in order, in its place. We're direct, we're specific, right? We have context, just like you do in the English, right? We have context to everything that we write and that we're reading. And that lets us know what it is we're speaking about. And that context will stay the same. So it's not confusing. Generally, when we have a context of, let's say, what you'll see in the Bible a lot is where it says, where the Most High is giving the children of Israel an order. The Most High says, the Most High commanded, Yahweh commanded to do this. And in those sentences, you'll see the possessive word he over and over. He said, he spoke. The word spoke is to speak is is it sapar? Sapar, to speak. In 1 minute, let me pull that up. Is it sapar? Sapar, it's sapar book. Let me look this up really quick. To speak is Strong's H1696 dabar, not sapar, dabar, right? Dabar, all right? We have da bar, all right? The bar is to speak. So something you'll see a lot is he. How do we say he? He is, no, Yah is my. How do we say he? Give me 1 minute. He is Wah. Wah. All right. He is Wah. Right. So dabar means to speak, and we have Wah as a possessive word, which means he. Right. So if you're reading a sentence and you have something in context, we're speaking about he, or you're speaking about the Most High, you'll see Yahweh dabar. Yahweh spoke. And then you'll see Wa dabarwa. Yahweh Dabar, right? Yahweh spoke. Wa Dabar Wa. And he said, and he spoke. And you'll see that Wa over and over, right? This possessive word throughout the sentence. All right? So when you're reading a sentence in context again, we have possessive words, right? Meaning we're saying what a word belongs to, whether it's he, she, it, my, them, they, right? Those people over there. We have context, we have possessive words, right? And then we have prepositions, right, which help fill out the sentence. So as we're speaking in Hebrew, right, you'll see similar possessive words, similar suffixes, adjectives, right, to let you know that the context of which we're speaking. And we're very direct with it. We're very specific, right? So we're saying the day, the week. So it's not to confuse anybody. Now, as you're reading it, you say the day, the week. Words like this that we learn in the English, those words are implied, right? So as you pick up, for example, the King James Bible, and you're reading the sentences in English, you'll see the days of the week, because the translators in English, they understand English, right? And they did their best job to translate what they were writing from the Hebrew to the English. So we would have words like this that are implied, but in the Hebrew, they're just very direct. The day of the week. You understand? The day of the week. Let's not confuse anybody, and we move on. All right? So what we're going to go over first, right, we'll do a quick review. We'll go over the days of the week. All right? Ha-Yawam, Ha-Shabawai. Ha-Yawam, Ha-Shabawai. The days, the weeks. All right? This is what we're going over first, just to kind of warm up as we get into the feast days. All right? So, how we would say the first day of the week, which is Sunday. We have Sunday. Sunday is the first day of the week. We would say day one. All right? Day one. All right? How that looks in the Hebrew, because we're going right to left, we're saying Yawam, right? Yawam is day. And then we have one, or how we would say it, the head, right? The head meaning the first, or the most important, the beginning, right? Which is Ra'ash. All right, Ra'ash is head. We have Ra, Ra'ash 1. Ra'ash 1. All right. In English, we would say Sunday. In Hebrew, we're saying the first day. All right. We're saying day first. All right. Or day head. All right. Your head being the beginning. You understand? Now, in English, we have these different words, and these different words come from the Romans. All right, this is Roman and Greek culture to say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, September, October, November, December, January, February. These different words is Roman and Greek culture. Hebrew culture, again, we are very direct. We're not a confusing language. We're very direct. We're very specific. And how we would say our second day is day 2. Yawam Shana. Shanya meaning 2. So first day is Yawam Ra'ash 1. All right, Ra'ash 1 being the head or the first. And then we have 2, which is Shanya. All right, which would be the second day or day 2. All right. So now that we understand a little bit of Hebrew culture, understand it a little better, let's try to run through the different days of the week. All right. So we have which is day. All right. Yawam. Day 6. And we'll bring our numbers out. Right? And we're just going to count up to 6. So we did the second day, we have the third day, right? 3 is shalash, right? 4 is arabai, arabai. 5 is kamash, 5 kamash. Kamash. And then we have 6, which is shasha. All right. Shasha. All right. So we had Yawam Shanya. Shanya is 2, right? Is day 2, or the second day. And then we have Tuesday, which is the third day. Wednesday is the fourth day. Thursday is the 5th day. Friday is the 6th day. All right. So we continue on with what we were saying. We're saying Yawam. Yawam is day. We're saying day 6, day 5, day 4, day 3, day 2, and day 1st. All right. So again, 3 is shalash, 4 is arabai, 5 is kamash, and 6 is shasha. All right. So we have Tuesday, which is Yawam Shalash. Wednesday is Yawam Arabai. Thursday is Yawam Kamash. Friday is Yawam Shasha. Give you a minute to write that down. Now, we're going to get now to the seventh day, right? Which in today's Roman calendar, we would say Sunday, right? And so now, not to be confused, but understand that the culture of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is a culture given to us from the Most High, right? When you think of a nation of people, you think of, for example, Canadians. Canadians have laws, they have rules, regulations. They have different things that are acceptable and not acceptable. Different ways that they expect people to communicate socially and to interact with people. And these are things you're taught from young, right? In the nation of Canada, you're taught how to interact with people, what's acceptable, what is not acceptable. All right? And it is no different from the nation of Israel. We have our culture, we have rules, we have regulations, right? The Bible is our constitution. All right? It governs how Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are supposed to act, how we are to be, how we are to govern ourselves. And something that is very important in our culture, as we're going to get into as we keep going through the class, is we're going to go through some of the things mentioned in Leviticus 23, where the judges and the high priests, we had people like Moses, people in high places who were giving instructions to the nation of Israel as they were receiving them from the Most High. All right? Our ancestors received these instructions, and we passed it down from generation to generation. Okay? And so, something very important in our culture is the Sabbath. Is it two B's? I believe it's two B's. No, I think it's one B. Sabbath. All right? That is very important in our culture. The Most High told the children of Israel that every 7 days shall be a Sabbath of rest. All right? This word Sabbath means to rest. It is a day where you are to have no servile work. All right? This is a law in the nation of Israel that is mainly for people who own businesses. And it is to make sure that if you own a business and you have people working for you, to make sure that they have a day off. The Most High wanted you to rest. The Most High wanted you to have a day of rest where you wouldn't have to worry about working for your employer or doing servile work, but you could focus on doing the things that you enjoy doing, where you could have a day to yourself. Imagine that. And that's a part of our law. And this day is very important. This is a day that the Most High gave us. It was a day created for us. The scriptures say that the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. All right? This day should serve you. You shouldn't be serving it. And so this day is every 7 days. Sabbath, meaning rest. All right? How we say that in the Hebrew And I'll spell it out in the Assyrian. We have a Shabbat. All right. We have a Shah, a Ba, and a Fa. And when you see these little connectors connecting these different symbols, this just lets you know the different syllables in a word. It lets you know how to pronounce a word. All right. So we have the Ba and the Tha connected. We're not saying Sha, Ba, Tha. We're saying Sha, Ba. I'll spell it here. This is how you would read it. Shabbat. So every 7 days, it is the Yom Shabbat. It is the, how you would say in English, as the King James Version would translate it, they would say the day of rest, right? In the Hebrew, we're just saying rest day, right? That's how we would say it more in English. In Hebrew, we go right to left, we read right to left. So we're saying day rest, right? And again, that word, there are words that are just implied, right? So the word of is just implied, right? Hebrew, we say day rest, right? That means you're on your 7th day, right? Every 7 days is a day of rest. It's your day rest, right? We're very direct. We're very specific, right? It's getting late. Your children need to go to bed. You say, go sleep. Go to sleep. You might not even say that. You might just say sleep, right? Sleep time. You're being direct because you're tired and you're being specific and you want to get the message clear to your kids, right? You're communicating very clear. It's your day rest, right? It is a day created for you. That is how you would say Sunday in the Hebrew. again, we're in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We are on Yom Shasha. All right, we're on day 6. The sun has gone down. We're on day 6. All right, after the sun goes down tomorrow, we will be on Yom Shabbat. All right, the day of rest, the 7th day. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is 7 days. All right. Which, if I'm not mistaken, in Leviticus 23, it would be the 14th day. The 14th day of the month. All right. So just as the generals that are above us, our leaders in the Israelite school of UPK, they have devoted themselves to doing the work of the Most High and to making sure the nation of Israel celebrates these days on the right day. And so we are on the Yom Shabbat, the 7th day, those 7 days cycle. All right. If you go through Leviticus 23, let me pull that up. Leviticus chapter 23. Speak to the nation of Israel. So, holy convocations. The first day, and the 14th day of the first month is the Lord's Passover. The convocation. And the 7th day, the holy convocation, we shall do no servile work. Verse 6, and on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Unto the Lord 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. All right, that's the 15th day. All right, the 14th day was the Lord's Passover. All right, so this is a word that you will see. You will see it as you read through Leviticus 23. All right, we have I.S.U.P.K. So how we would put this is Ba, Ba'arab, 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 I. Ba'arabai, Ba'arabai, right? Which would be, and then we have I.S.H.U.P.K, all right? I.S.H.U.P.K, I.S.H.U.P.K meaning 10, all right? Arabai is 4. All right. So this would be in, you could say it like this, in the 14th, right? That's how you might see it. In English, in your King James Version Bible, right? Make this bigger. This means 14th. which is in, and this is 14. All right, 14. Our Rabbi is 4. Aishara, that you know is 14, right? The translators who understood Hebrew, right, were able to put this together, and they have translated it as 14. All right, giving you a tense that we're speaking in. All right. This, I believe, would be, we're speaking in the future tense, something that you will do. All right. I would have to look through the Hebrew and some of my notes to tell you specifically which tense it is. I'm not sure if it is exactly the future tense. But just by going through the English, it sounds like it's in the future tense. And that's where we get these different characters from, right? You're seeing that ha character at the end, right? When you do some studying, you'll realize you're seeing a character that may seem out of place, or you're like, what is that character, or where does that belong, right? Because we know our Rabbi is 4, our Rabbi Aishara is 14, and then the translators have written 14, right? So there's something going on there. I would have to do some investigation to see. What it appears like to me is it appears like this ha is because it's in a different tense. All right, I'm not saying that for certain, but just letting you know, you see these different characters here because there's something going on, right? So we have in the English, in the King James Version, it says in the 14th day, right? So you would have Yawam, right? Yawam meaning day. Yawam ba'arabai Aishara, right? 14th day. We have a ma kwa ra Qadash. Ma kwa ra Qadash. This word here, ma kwa ra, means to call. All right. So we are literally saying in the Hebrew, we have a call that is holy, right? Again, there are words that are implied, right? We have a call that is holy, right? Qadash, meaning holy. Makwara is to call. Right? We could also say calling. And so, as I was saying earlier, the Bible is our constitution, is the black man's, the black and brown man, black, Hispanic, and Native American man's constitution. And so, as you're thinking about this, right, you're thinking about this logically, and you're trying to understand the Hebrew culture, what is taking place is that there is a holy calling, because there is a day in the nation of Israel that is holy. Holy meaning set apart. Now, these days are holy and set apart, not because Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans decided that this day was important, We weren't in the nation of Israel saying our birthday is important, so we're going to celebrate it. Easter is important, so we're going to celebrate it. Valentine's Day is a special day, so we're going to celebrate it. No, we receive instructions from the Most High, and this is how we are to live. The Most High decides which days are holy, which days are set apart. You can read in the book of Ecclesiasticus, the Most High told us, why does one day excelleth another? When the sun rises and the sun sets every day. What's the difference? The sun goes up, the sun goes down. The sun rises, the sun sets. And so why is today different from tomorrow? Because the Most High chose it to be. The Most High chose days that are Qadash, that are set apart, that are different. Today is a day that is Qadash. It is different. It is set apart. It is a day where the nation of Israel is commemorating the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Nobody should be eating any leaven because the Most High told us. It's a day where we are to eat unleavened bread to remember what our ancestors went through in the wilderness, to remember what we had as we came out of Egypt, what the Most High supplied for us and gave us, how He sustained us, how He took care of us, to bring us into something better. A lot of Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans were murmuring during that time because they were eating this bitter herbs and this bitter bread. And they were saying, we want what the Egyptians gave us. We would rather have that than be free men and have our own land and have rulership. And so the Most High deemed those Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans unworthy. Damn near all of the nation of Israel was unworthy of getting into that land. They didn't make it into that land. Those generations of people, those generation of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were wiped out. And their sons and their daughters were able to receive the promises given from the Most High. And so we have these holy days to remember. They're very important for us. There's a certain spirit that we should have as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right. So this day is Qadash. It is holy because the Most High chose it to be. And on this day, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are called to gather. They are called on this day to gather together and to commemorate these high holy days, or these holy days, these Qadash Yawam, or Yawam Qadash, these days that are holy. You think of the Passover. The Passover is where Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are to gather together. They are being called on that day to gather together. It is a holy convocation. It is a holy gathering. Makwara Qadash. A holy convocation. So we went over Shabbat, which means rest. Now, if you go to the book of Acts, what verse is that? Acts chapter, let me pull it up. Acts, I believe it's the book of Acts. Acts 12 and verse 4. Acts, this is the book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 4, and it reads, "And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him in forth to the people." The book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 4. This is the only verse in your King James 11 Bible where you see the word Easter. Double check. Easter. It shows up one time in the New Testament. This is G3957. All right, G3957. I will pull it up on the screen so you can see it. But how much time do we got? 8:40. We got some time. Let me pull this up on my screen. We're going to Acts chapter 12 and verse 4. And I'm going to use my Blue Letter Bible app. Oh, why did we went to chapter 4 and verse 12? I want 12 and 4. Okay, Acts 12 in the Blue Letter Bible. And let me share my screen. Blue Letter Bible. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, everybody should be able to see my screen. Let's make that big. So we're going to go to Acts 12 and verse 4. What do we got going on here? Okay, so as you see on my screen, we're in the book of Acts, chapter 12 and verse 4, right? And again it reads, "And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people." So what we're going to go down is a Blue Letter Bible app is a app that I like to use. All right. And so you can see here, as we scroll down on this app, it's showing us the Strongs of each of these words. So we're going to go down to the Strongs for Easter. All right. You should be able to see this, right, on my screen. Easter. It is Strong's G3957. And we're going to click on that. And we can actually play this word here to see how this word sounds.
Strong's G3957. Pascha.
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 Pascha. Let me play that again.
Strong's G3957. Pascha. Pascha.
Pascha. All right, Pascha. We're going to click on this word. Pascha. Pascha. And as you can see on my screen here, Pascha. Let me write it up on the board. And we're going to do a little investigating. We have this word, Easter, which is translated from the Greek word Pascha. Now we see this root word here that it says etymology. And you can see it, it says it comes of Aramaic origin. Root word, etymology of Aramaic origin. And we are going to write these characters out. So that we can get this up on the board. All right. H653. Okay. H6453. All right. And we can unshare my screen so that we can see where we're at. All right. So we are going through the feast days of the nation of Israel. In Acts chapter 12 and verse 4, what were they talking about? This word Easter in English written comes from this word Pascha, as we heard, right? Which is the Greek. This Greek word comes from the Hebrews. All right? And it is this spelling right here. They had a pa, a sa, and a ka. All right? They have a pa, a sa, and a ka. How we write that in the Lashawan Qadash? We have a pa. Salakia, I know I have a glare somewhere over here. Right here, we have a pa, a sa, and a ka. All right? If I forget that Strong's it said, I believe it was H646453. You can double check that for yourself. But you will see this word right here, which is pasak. All right? Pasak. All right? This is the Assyrian Hebrew, and we have the Lashawan Qadash, all right? As I showed earlier, all these symbols, we pronounce it the same, all right? If you were to hear those Jewish people, those people that claim to be from the tribe of Judah, and they are not, I'm not sure if they even claim to be of the tribe of Judah. I think they're confused. They call themselves Jewish. I don't know if any of them actually know there are 12 different tribes of the nation of Israel. Some of them do, but they call themselves Jewish. Jew meaning you descend from a man named Judah. All right? You descend from a man named Judah. When they pronounce this word, those Jewish people, right? Those people that are kind of like Jews, Jewish, I think they say pasak. Or no. That's how we would say. How do they say it? It actually might sound similar. Pashak. I think they might say Pashak with a Shah sound. Pashak. Forget, not important. How we say it is Pasak. All right? Pasak. All right? Those Jewish people, they have their weird vowel points, right? Which let them know that they pronounce it differently. I'm pretty sure they say Shah instead of Sa. All right? But to the point, this word that we see Easter in English, right? Where people today are out, they got bunny rabbits, they got chocolate bunny rabbits, they got these Easter eggs and Easter hunts, and they are teaching the traditions of men to their children. Easter, that this oppressor that is over us celebrates and has taught us to celebrate, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, this is not your culture. If you look at where this word originates from, it comes from the word pasak, which means Passover. The Passover a celebration of the slaughter of the Egyptians, the slaughter of a nation of people. Something that your Christian pastor would never tell you to celebrate. Because your pastor is too busy telling you that God is all love, and he loves everybody, and he loves the Africans, and he loves the Asians, and he loves your oppressor, the Europeans. He's too busy telling you God loves everybody. But if your pastor was teaching you to actually follow Christ and obey the Most High, we know that Christ celebrated the Passover, which is the slaughter of the Egyptians. Remembering what the Most High did to the nation of Ham, those Hamitic people. Remembering our glory as a nation, winning a battle against another nation of people. Your oppressor remembers Christopher Columbus. He remembers his different war heroes and generals. And Canada celebrates and commemorates that. That is not your culture, Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. Your culture is the Passover, the Pesach. This is in your history books. That is in your Bible for you to remember and for you to celebrate. All right? We have Pesach, which is the Passover, when the angels of death passed over your homes and kept you alive. This is a feast that we're in now. Chag Hama Tazawath. Chag Hama Tazawath. All right, that is the feast of unleavened bread. we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is Kag Hama Tazawa. All right, Feast of Unleavened Bread. We have Kag Ha Kwa Tazayar Baka Warrior. All right, Kag Ha Kwa Tazayar Baka Warrior, which is the Feast of First Fruits. Now, what you can do, if you need to rewind and pause, just hit pause and copy down, right, how we spelt that out, how we wrote it out in the Hebrew. All right. Just for time's sake, we're getting to the end of the class. I want to give you these last two. All right. It only takes a second to hit pause and go back. I'll get you these last two so you can put them in your notes. All right. We have Zakar one. All right, Zakar one. Tha Ra Wai. Tha Ra Wai. We have Hakah, Har Yom. Yom is plural. Hakapar. Kapar is to kapar. It's to atone. Right. Ha is the. and this is plural, right? When you see yom, it is plural. Oh, that's fine. We can put this. This is the root word, right? The tone, right? Atonement. All right. So I'll just get all those down to you so you can get them for your notes. All right. This is the end of the class. And so these last two we have, right? You can find all these in Leviticus chapter 23. We have Zakar 1, Tharawa, Salakia. Zakar 1, Tharawai, which means the memorial of blowing of trumpets. All right. Rawa'ai is a root word. It means to alarm. All right. We have Zakar. It's a memory, right? To remember. Right. Remember the alarming, right? When you blow a trumpet, you are alarming people of something, right? Like in the scriptures say that ye are dumb dogs, right? Dumb dogs meaning you are dogs who aren't doing your job. When you bark, you are alarming people of something. Right? I believe you read about that in the book of Isaiah, right? Or you can go to the book of Ezekiel where it says to be a watchman over our people and to alarm our people, to warn them of the danger that is coming. All right. This day that the Most High gave Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans was a memorial of the blowing of trumpets. All right. And we have lots of classes that you can find in the I.S.U.P.K regarding the memorial blowing of trumpets. You can check out our page on I.S.U.P.K Canada in the YouTube and on Facebook, and you can find classes on the memorial blowing of trumpets. All right. And then lastly, we have Yawam HaKaparium. All right. Yawam means day, as we went through earlier. We have Ha, which is a preposition. Ha means love. You see it before a word. You have the root word here, kapar. Kapar means to atone. And yum, when you see yum at the end of a word, it means plural. Like when you say ak yum. Ak means brother. Ak yum means brothers. Right? And you have different words when it's in the feminine versus masculine. Right? In this case, it's yum, right? We're saying the masculine. All right, masculine always comes first in the nation of Israel. All right, the men are the most important. The men are the heads. The men are first. We are the protection. All right, and that is what this word means, right? Kapar is to atone. This is the day of atonement, or the day of atoning. All right, and so those are our feast days, right? The memorial blowing of trumpets, the Day of Atonement, Feast of Unleavened Bread. We had the Passover. We had the Sabbath. All right. And there's some other, we've got a couple more, right? You got the Feast of Dedication, which we'll have to go over in another class, just because we're out of time. All right. But with that said, we're going to end the class. All right. This is the end of Friday night's Lashawan Qadash class. Let's clap it up. All right. I will put the sign out links in the chat. Make sure you hit the sign out links before you leave the class. We're going to give the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it or read it in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. In the Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We are still in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at sundown. We will be closing the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, headband, pants, and scarf. With that said, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. So, men of Israel, if you would Imadim, which means to stand, Imadim means stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Imadim Shabbat, Imadim, Barak, Yahweh Shah Barakatham, Yad Yamatah. Yad Yamatah means hands down. Sar, which means turn. We're going to turn and face the sisters and give them one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imadim Shabbat, Imadim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Bashim Shah, Yad Yamatah, class dismissed.
Let the blind slip through their teeth. Their ass need to stop. Their ass see the props. That's just the reality, Christian. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years. But that's what he took us for, lying. That's why they exist to lie, to money out of your pockets. Boy,